Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Carolyn, and today's video is going to be another collective reading. Today's collective reading is going to be focusing on the energy of the Fool. And I wanted to make this video for people who feel like they have been blocked, who feel like they have been trying to work for things or manifest things in their lives, and they feel like they're not getting the results they want. They feel like they're doing everything they can to make it work, and yet it still feels like things aren't coming their way. And so I decided to use the energy of the Fool card because the Fool is all about starting something. It's about starting a new journey, going for it, and not having any idea of how it's going to take shape. Just knowing the destination and knowing you're going to do whatever it takes to get to there. And because you don't really have a set game plan, you're open to everything. And so it's easy for you to change and adapt and to grow and evolve, especially if you're trying to grow something or manifest something. You're able to go with the energy that the earth is giving you, and you're not trying to force anything. And so with this collective energy, I'm hoping to show you guys what your mental blocks are, what you're holding on to, and how you can get rid of them so that you can embody this Fool energy, so that you don't have any resistance anymore. So for your tarot cards, you have Queen of Comets, Lieutenant of Rockets reversed, 4 of Rockets, and 7 of Lasers. So what I'm picking up here is that you had this idea that you're trying to bring into your life, and you went for it. And regardless if you had a game plan at the start of this or not, somewhere along the lines, a plan was formed. And it became more rigid, it became more controlled, where you are trying to almost micromanage your little actions, saying, okay, I'm gonna do this result, and it's gonna lead me to X, which is gonna lead me to Y, which is gonna lead me to Z, and so on. And what Spirit wants you to know is that by doing that, you are stifling your potential. That is why it's blocking you, because you're not open to seeing things in a new perspective, but you're blocking yourself off from other paths and ways that you can get that same result. And so you're making it harder for you, where you're trying to fight and go with the path that you created, and you're not meant to get your result that way. It can be a part of it, but there's something that you're not seeing that would be so much easier for you. And I feel like the reason why it would be easier is because it's gonna have more fun. Because I feel like right now, you're enjoying that you're getting closer and closer to your manifestation, but there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of tension, because you're trying so hard to make something happen, and it feels like it hasn't happened as fast as you wanted it to. And I feel like you even could be looking at other people who started the same journey and got there sooner than you, and you're looking at it like, well, I'm doing everything right, how come I haven't gotten there, and they just started and they're already so many steps ahead of me. And Spirit doesn't want you to do that to yourself. We're all on different journeys, we all have different paths, and you are meant to learn lessons during this. And your lesson is that you are holding on too much to what you want. You are not focused on what you need. You're not listening and adapting and changing little things. You are being fixed on what your ego wants. And that's why when we step into that Fool's energy, it's more naive. It's open to anything. In numerology, it's 0. So it's not one way or the other. There's no energy about it. It's just its own energy. It's pure energy. And that's why a lot of times it's represented by child and other adaptions, because it has this innocent quality to it. And so to embody that energy in your own life, you have to take a step back. With that Queen of Cups, this is saying Spirit doesn't want you to just enjoy what you're gonna get. Spirit wants you to enjoy yourself in this process every day, every step. Do it in a way that you enjoy. And so this is saying that if you have 2 options of 2 things you can do, go with the thing that makes you happier. Do the thing that you're actually going to enjoy, that you're going to have fun doing, because it's going to make your energy vibrate at a higher frequency, which means that you are manifesting things on that vibration. And the universe is all about meeting us halfway. So we are putting out a high vibration to the universe, even if it's not to do with what you're trying to manifest. Because you're on that high vibration where you're trusting the process, where you're enjoying yourself, the universe is going to bring you more things that you enjoy. It's going to bring you more opportunities. And so your journey might change, but your destination is still going to be the same, where you're happy, where you're fulfilled, and you get what you want. And even if the destination changes as far as what is actually making you happy, you are still reaching your full happiness. And so that's what Spirit wants you to know. It's like you can change your goals, but at the end of the day, our goals are just bringing us the emotions and the things we want to feel out of life. They're bringing you security, stability, happiness, feeling like you're actually doing something that has a purpose to your life. And so that role may change, but that feeling, that emotion that you're changing isn't going to change. And that's why Spirit doesn't want you to stress about things. When you embody this Fool's energy, it's about literally taking away all your control and just knowing that you're doing the things you can to meet the universe halfway, that you're on that high vibration where the universe is going to match that. It's going to give you things that match that vibration. Whereas if you feel like you're working too hard, you feel like you're doing things and they're not coming true, and you're just getting more and more frustrated, well, now your vibration is lower. You're manifesting more issues, more complications, because it's subconscious. And so because you're not enjoying what you're doing, yes, you're focused on getting that destination, but the way that you're going about it is going to create more obstacles in your path, because that's what you're putting out. And you're not having that gratitude because you're angry at the situation, even if you don't mean to, even if you're grateful for what you're going to get and the little things that are good in your life, you're still focused on that negative side. And that's why Spirit wants you to know, like, anything negative that happens to you on this journey, just be like the Fool. Collect it as data, because the Fool doesn't know anything. The Fool is just collecting all this information and then making notes with it. And so with this Lieutenant of Rockets, this is Spirit saying you are going to fail. But the Fool collects it as data, it learns from it, and it keeps on getting back up and moving along and not staying stuck, not staying on the ground anymore. The Fool picks itself up when it falls down. And that's what Spirit wants you to do when you embody this Fool's energy. It's not about always staying ahead of everything and not ever failing, but it's about learning from that and embracing the failure, not being afraid of it. Because I feel like another thing that's blocking the collective is the fact that you're afraid of failure, so you're not taking any risk, because you are looking at it from a perspective, no risk is better than any risk. And what Spirit wants you to know is, like, if you live your life like that, if you never take a risk on anything, you are not going to get where you want to be. At some point in this journey, you're always going to be the Fool on this edge of the cliff. If the Fool doesn't jump, then the Fool's not going to get there. And that's what you need to know about your purpose. It's like you are meant to fall and you're meant to get back up and then keep doing that. And I feel like you might be receiving the same challenge and hardship over and over until you don't give up, because I feel like right now you are avoiding it. You are going around it. You're making detours, and that's why you're taking a longer time to get there, because you're not doing what you need to do. You're not facing it head on. You're trying to make excuses and you're trying to deny that it's even in front of you. And so you're doing all you can to avoid this one aspect that you don't want to do, and Spirit's saying you have to do it. And by doing that, you're going to face your fears and realize that they're not that scary. You can overcome anything because you know where you want to go. And so if you know where you want to go and you're free to create the plan as you go, then there's literally nothing that can stop in your way, because you can always find a way to overcome it. Even if it's difficult and it takes a lot of time, you're going to learn how to do it because you're this Four of Rockets. And again, this goes to that energy that the Queen of Cups had, where you're supposed to enjoy yourself. You're supposed to be able to build stability around this. And so everything you do, it's either a lesson or it's meant to bring you enjoyment in your life, or both. It's supposed to bridge the gaps. And so you're not supposed to be doing something that's just breeding negativity, but you're also not supposed to be just up in the clouds wishing for things. You are supposed to combine logic and emotion to create something stable. For some reason, I'm getting an analogy where when you make cement, you have to go to the store and you have to buy the mix, and you mix it with water, and then you have the cement, and then you can build your house or anything on top of it. And so the reason they had me bring up that analogy is that they want me to clarify that Queen of Cups. When I said that you guys should be doing things that you enjoy, that bring you joy and happiness in your life, it's not to say that you won't have to do things that aren't going to bring you immense joy right away, but it's saying you shouldn't be doing things that make you unhappy, that make that joy disappear. You're supposed to be doing things that you might be apprehensive about, but once you start them, they actually bring you joy. They actually make you happy because they're pushing you closer to your goal. And so it's finding that balance between logic and your emotions, like how when you make cement, you have to mix the ingredients together to get the stable foundation you want. It can't just be all one thing or the other, otherwise it's not going to be stable. Because if you just went to the store and brought the powder, then that's just going to blow away in the wind. And if you just have water, it's changing, it's adapting, but you can't really stand on top of it. You can't really build anything on it. And so when you combine the two together, they create something that's very strong, that's hard to destroy. And that's what you're doing with your life, is because you have the logic, you're mixing that with what's actually bringing you happiness, and then you have a new perspective of where you can build from, of the foundation that's your base for everything. Instead of just having it be the things you feel you have to force yourself to do, because that's not stable, that's not sustainable, because eventually something's gonna break. And then if you're just caught up in what you can do, but you don't actually do anything, you're not actually moving, you're not getting anywhere. You don't have anything that's actually solid for you to stand up on. And so that's what Spirit wants you to know. It's like to embody this Fool's energy. You start your journey be naive, being open to anything. And then along the way, you learn logic, you learn from your mistakes, but you still stay open-minded. You still create new plans and you still adapt, but it's allowing yourself to learn on how to adapt and what to change, on when to realize when something's not working, to know the warning signs when you're going to approach danger. Because with this 7 of lasers, this is saying that you're looking behind your back as a fool. You're reflecting on everything, but you are still climbing up the ladder. As scary as it is, as much as you might be apprehensive about it, you are still taking one step closer to your goal. And so for you to be the fool, to let go of this control, is going to allow you to accept that you are allowed to be afraid. You are allowed to be unsure of where you're going, if it's the right path for you, because you're getting closer and closer there. And the fool doesn't always know where they're going, and that's what Spirit wants you to know, is that by embodying this energy, it's allowing yourself to give up control and to trust the universe, and trust that you're doing the proper steps to get where you want to be, because you're putting in work to make you happy, to reach that alignment. And so even though you're scared, even though you're nervous, you're not doing anything that's negative for you. Being the fool isn't going and doing things that are reckless and impulsive. This is being mindful of each step, each direction you take, but also knowing that it's not rigid, that there's no one way to do it. And that's what I feel like you've forgotten with the fool's energy. I feel like you've been thinking, I don't want to be naive, I don't want to be stupid, I want to be smart about this. And you will. The fool is all about being mindful. It's just not being so rigid and logical where you lose sight of the potential and what you can do and the ways that you can change. You're not supposed to be all one way. You're supposed to see everything and calculate the best option for you. It's like if you're on this journey, and going with the metaphor of this fool, it's like you got to the cliff. Well, you have multiple different things you can do, and it's about seeing what's going to be the fastest for you while still being safe and logical for you, because the fool is going to jump off the cliff. Now, some would say that it's not smart, but what we can't see from the card is just how high the cliff is. It could be just a little hop and he would be fine, and so it actually would be the safest for him, but it also could be something that's very dangerous. But the fool is going to make the mindful decision of what is secure for him, of what's going to make him go on his route in a way that's going to be successful for him, because he could turn around, but that would take more time. He could get lost. It could be frustrating, and that's what Spirit wants you to know. You can be mindful in the moment, and you can have educated guesses on what you're going to do. But until you reach that point and you're in the moment of when you're making that decision, you truly don't know what is best for you. And so if you don't listen to your intuition while you're in that moment making that decision, and you just go with what you told yourself to do, that's actually going to cause more issues for you. That's going to take the longer route. And that's why you're getting frustrated, because you're not actually listening to what's best for you, to where Spirit's pushing you. And that's what you need to realize with your manifestations. It's like you have all these opportunities that you're shutting down because you're only seeing things as one way, like, oh, I got to open this door to get outside, when really there's another door right next to you that would get you outside, but you're ignoring it. You're acting like you don't see it. You're acting like there's all walls around you, and that you need to make it down all the way to the end of the hall to open that one last door. And so it's about actually acknowledging and looking at your surroundings, looking at everything, collecting the data, and then making the wisest decision for you in the moment, but not premeditating everything and micromanaging what you can and can't do before it even happens. And so with these oracle cards, it definitely talks about the energy of being mindful of things, of actually trusting yourself and your intuition, and knowing what's going on around you. Like I said, collecting the data and actually analyzing everything so that you make the best adjustments for you that flow with your life, that actually are adaptable and changing in order to evolve your life, and being very transparent with yourself. The fool isn't hiding anything from itself. It's like how a child will be brutally honest. They're going to say what is actually going on and not have any lies and deception, because they don't know that they should censor things. And that's what you need to embody with this fool's energy. Don't sugarcoat things to make yourself feel better. Don't try and twist things so that you don't have to face this reality, because ignoring reality isn't going to help you. And I feel like as a collective, because we're managing everything and we're trying to control how we're getting things, we're going to not accept defeat. We're going to keep denying things, and you can't do that. Being the fool means accepting when you fall fall so that you get back up, because otherwise you're laying on the floor and you're acting like you're not on the floor, and that's not helping you because you're not moving and you're not getting closer to your destination. And with this air card, this is saying that it's okay to slow down. It's okay to actually reflect and take time to breathe, catch your breath if you need to. You can pause on your journey. There's no shame on that. And I feel like sometimes it's hard for you to realize that you're not meant to run a marathon. You're running for the long term. And so when you see people that are getting there faster, that's a part of their journey, but it's not yours. You're meant to take this route, and it's going to be sustainable for you because you're building your fulfillment. You're building your enjoyment. You don't know what those other people had to go through in their past. You don't know how much they worked for things and how many things failed. And so to judge yourself when you don't know their story is going to hurt you. So it's about letting things go, actually being like the air and just going with wherever you feel like you need to, so that you just focus on yourself, so that you're not focusing on everyone else, because that's going to take away from you. You don't need to be so caught up in comparing yourself, because that's going to hurt you, because the fool isn't comparing itself to anyone. It's naive. It's trusting that everyone's happy and everyone's living their best life. And that's what you need to embody. Be focused on your manifestations, be focused on yourself, and then you're not even going to worry about those other people, because your vibration is going to be so high. So you're going to be leveling up, and you're going to be focused on yourself and the next thing you can do and the next goal you can accomplish, that you're not going to be stressed about what everyone else is doing. When you're worrying about them and you're comparing yourself to them, that's making you go back down to that lower vibration, where the universe is going to say that you don't feel worthy of being on their level, so it's not going to let you be on their level. If you feel like you're just as good as them and you're not comparing, you're happy for them, you're showing gratitude that you were on this journey, then you are going to get that brought back to you. So we have the Wood Maiden, and this is a fairy tale, and this is so fitting because it talks about trust. And trust is what the fool has. It's knowing that things are going to happen that we don't really have control of, but trusting that things are going to get better. And in this story, she's a little bit naive. She just trusts the fairy, and come to find out that the fairy isn't always good to all children, only little girls. But this fairy does give her family riches because they grew up very poor and they end up getting the farm that they've always wanted. And so with this, it's saying like you can be naive, you are going to not always trust the right people, but that doesn't mean that good things can't happen. Sometimes being naive is good, because if she knew about this, then she might not have trusted the fairy, and in her instance it worked out. But it's also about being aware that not everyone has your best interest at heart. So sometimes it's better to trust yourself, trust your own intuition, and keep things to yourself. You don't have to share your grand plan with everyone. I feel like sometimes you might get down on yourself because you told everyone what your big plans were and they didn't come into fruition, and then that's where that disappointment seeps in. But if you keep things to yourself, you just keep personal goals, and you keep having gratitude and appreciating how you're moving, even if it's not as fast as you would like, if you still moved a step forward than you were the day before, that's progress. And you need to be proud about that. And I feel like you forget that sometimes because you get so caught up in the semantics of things. But if you just focus on trusting yourself, trusting that you're moving forward, that it's going to lead up and add up over time, then you are going to get the results you want. You are going to embody this fool's energy. Because like I said, everyone's journey is different, and the time and speed we get there is going to vary for everyone. But you have the power within you, and you are going to meet the people that are going to help you, but you have to be open-minded to it. And just know that when you trust your intuition, it's going to lead to good things because you collected the data. You're going to learn from that. And then with your intuition and being mindful, you're going to know who's the right people to trust and who not to trust. And you're not going to be making the same mistakes you did when you first started. And even if you do, you're going to grow and adapt from them. And you can turn mistakes into blessings. Just like in the story, how she trusted the fairy, it ended up working for her. So sometimes even mistakes lead to blessings. And that's where when you fall down, if you get back up, you're going to know what to do. You're going to find a solution. You're going to find a way out. And by getting up, you are going to keep moving on. When you stay down, that's when you're going to get hurt. Because if you stay down, you're never going to know if it could have turned into a blessing. And that's what Spirit wants you to know with your manifestations, with your journey. It's okay to not succeed at everything. It's okay to be lost and confused, but just keep moving forward, and it's all going to add up. And that's why Spirit wants you to focus on what makes you happy, because at the end of the day, even if you're lost and you're confused, if you're happy, that is still going to be 10 times better than if you are confused and you're lost and you think something is working, so you keep forcing it even when you know it's not, because that's going to make you miserable. That's going to make you upset with yourself and feel resentment and feel disappointment within yourself, because you're going to keep questioning and comparing yourself to others. And so we have reaching your destination. Your light is shining brightly. And this card, I asked what you guys need to do in order to embody the Fool's energy. Like, what's the next step you need to take? And so this is telling you, trust that you're going to reach your destination. Trust that you are going to get where you want to be. Trust that everything's working out, that you're on the right path. And this is saying with this Fool's energy, don't doubt that you're doing the right things, because you're not going to do something that you shouldn't. Even if you get lost and you fall down and you get taken off course, when you pick yourself back up and you find your way back, you are going to get where you want to be. Even if it takes you longer, you are still going to get there, because you're moving one foot in front of the other each day. And so you're trusting in yourself and your abilities to make things happen. It's only when you start comparing yourself to others that you allow your vibration to be lower. You don't need to do that, because you are going to reach your destination. And I feel like a lot of you guys need to have an affirmation where you tell yourself it's happening. Not that it can happen, not that you have the potential, but that you are currently making it happen, that each day you're doing something and getting one step closer to it. Because I feel like you have been doubting it, and the reason why you get disappointed is because in the back of your mind you're afraid that it's not going to happen, that it's not meant for you, that it's just not going to work out, that you're putting all your energy into this and it's never going to happen. And what Spirit wants you to know, and that they're kind of getting angry about, is that you don't need to doubt yourself, because we are all capable of doing anything we want to. We can manifest anything. Anyone in the world can manifest whatever it is they want. Even if it seems weird and unattainable, you are capable of it. And so if you're capable of it, you can take the action to get it. And that's what Spirit wants you to know. Even if it seems like it's not going to happen, even if you doubt yourself, it is happening. It's currently happening. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You just have to keep focus on it and trust that you're on the right path, and that everything you do in your life, even if it seems like you're out of alignment, you are always going to get back in alignment. And so unless you're doing things actively to get thrown off course, if you're trying to stay on course, you are going to be on course, even if it doesn't feel like that. And so Spirit just wants you to keep trusting in yourself and know in your heart that you're going to get it, and you will. And the last card is to clear your energy field. And so this is from the Sacred Self-Care deck. And so I asked, what act of self-care can we do in order to reach this energy of the Fool, so that we can start embodying this energy more? And what I want to point out with number 10 is that if we focus on numerology, it reduces down to a 1. But 10 in tarot is always an ending. And the way I look at it is, because there is no 10 in numerology, because it reduces to a 1, it is a 1 with a 0. And that is saying that 10 is always going to be an ending that's leading to a new beginning. That's why when you look at tarot cards, typically it's something that there's a situation finally coming to an ending. And from there, then you have the Ace, which is going to bring that new beginning. And it all ties together, and it has that full energy of 0, where you're learning the lesson, where you're picking back up and moving on. And so for you to clear your energetic field, this is saying that you are letting go of this past cycle you have been in, of the past things you've been doing where you've been controlling things too much or micromanaging them. You're letting that go, and you're embodying this full energy. And so I love the fact that with this card, the numerology is saying, like, you are already stepping into the Fool's energy just by watching this video, just by being more mindful of your actions. You are clearing your energetic field. And so I'm going to read you the mantra from the guidebook. This way, if you want to incorporate it into your life, it says, my energy is clear, my mind is clear, and my heart is full of love. And so with this card, for it to be part of our self-care, I think it's going to be really beneficial for you guys if you cleanse yourself and you let go of the things that are holding you back, of this control, of this negative energy that's making you feel like a disappointment and a failure, and you let all of it go. And you can cleanse yourself in so many different ways. I did a whole video on how you can cleanse your divination tools, but you could also do that for yourself, so I'll link that. But you can use crystals, you can take a salt bath, you can smudge yourself, and you can also use meditation to clear your energy field. So you can either do this by visualizing while taking deep breaths, or you can look up guided meditations on YouTube. And I also want to say that you can do this specifically for different chakras. So if you know that you're holding a lot of issues and blocks in your heart chakra, you can look up how to clear your heart chakra. Or if it's your third eye, you can look up specifically for your third eye. But definitely focus on cleansing your energy field. And this is also about the people you have in your life. Like I said, with this Fool's energy, being mindful of who you're trusting, of who you're sharing with. Make sure that they're genuine, make sure they actually have your back, and know that it's okay to keep things to yourself. It's okay to have your privacy. And by doing that, you're going to clear your energetic field, and you're going to end up freeing yourself and not fearing like you have to hold everything in. That's going to end up weighing on you. Because I feel like some of you guys, you haven't even been the ones comparing yourself, but you have others on your back comparing you and saying XYZ about you. And you need to cut that out of your life. You either need to like move away from them, or stop interacting with them as much, because that's not good for you. And just clear your energetic field of the people you surround yourself with. Surround yourself by people who make you happy. Just like with the things you do, you want to make yourself happy through them. You want to be surrounded by people that make you happy too. And so definitely just focus on yourself, focus on cleansing yourself, and then make sure you're focused on cleansing your surroundings, because some of you guys, it is your environment. And once you clear that, once you cleanse that, you're going to be able to move in a much brighter way. And also I want to add that the way that your energetic field is cleansed is you're going to start to feel lighter. And so that's going to be really beneficial for you guys where you've been carrying a lot on yourself and a lot of pressure that's making you not feel like you can embody this full energy. Because I feel like that's what's blocking your manifestations, is you're putting too much pressure on yourself, and you need to let that go. And when you let that go and you just trust, things are going to start moving so much better for you. So I really hope this video helps you out. If it did, let me know in the YouTube comments down below. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and share with anyone else who would need it. Also, if you haven't already, please hit subscribe. I would love for you guys to be a part of this family, and also turn on that bell notification so you'll see when I post my next collective reading. And I can't wait to see you all in my next video. Have a good one. Bye.